My stint with the Esplanade Children's Arts Enrichment Center was a total eye opener for me. You know, I got to work with pure dance specialists, music specialists, drama specialists, theatre. It's a school that provides performing arts program for young children. I was heading the education department. So I work with the artists to come up with programs for children from 3 to 16. I bring in preschool children, you know, to enjoy some of those programs within that space itself. I witnessed my 2 daughters, you know, going through the program and how they have transformed. So very excitingly, I saw children being very engaged in the lessons. Very expressive, lots of stories to tell, very expressive when it comes to their ideas, their thoughts, their feelings, confidence. So after I left Esplanade, I went back to the preschool sector, and I decided to bring in the performing arts program into the preschool. So I was still in touch with some of these teachers, and I invited them to come to the schools to work with the children. Similar things I observed. You know, children were very happy, very engaged in their learning, always looking forward. In terms of the expression in the regular classroom, I can see that they are using a lot more mediums to demonstrate their learning and understanding. Parents were also sharing positive feedback about their children's growth, both at home and in school. So that's how I got, you know, really interested to look at arts education for young children. Then I was invited to a fairly large preschool organization that runs 30 over childcare centers to head this enrichment arm, and I continue to work with these different, you know, specialists in the art forms. My personal interest has always been in drama. I find that when you are, you know, it gives me an opportunity to take on a role that I can resonate with. If not, I can attempt to understand from another character's perspective, and that was liberating. When I'm, when I'm concerned, I get to learn a lot more things. I know very well that my interest is really not to look at drama as a performative program. It's not gearing towards, you know, a performance piece. But the other learning aspects, like, you know, the way we develop self-awareness, the way we get to understand about how the world works around us, the people, relationships, putting ourselves in different perspectives, you know, showing that sense of empathy, that feelings towards one another. And as I was going through, you know, the courses, the workshops, the readings, I came across Dorothy Heathcote, you know, Cecily O'Neill, looking at process drama, this whole concept of mentor of the expert. Then I got interested in Bower's Theatre of the Oppressed, how it gives voice to a marginalized community or people who do not have a voice, and how that can effect a social change. Then I realized that my interest in drama is really looking at drama in education, you know, the whole learning aspect, how it gives or how it empowers one to become an agent of change. After I left that organization, I started the Learning Connections with, you know, an ex-colleague, a good friend of mine, and I started to look at programs, you know, designing programs that allow the children to take on, you know, roles, allow the children to look at problems from different perspectives, allow the children to rehearse those solutions that they have come up with, and discuss about those outcomes, the consequence. And I realized that in this safe space, when the children are able to do that practice, that, you know, that simulations, that dramatization, you know, and discussion about it, the children had no stress to to decide, this is probably not the right solution, and let's try, perhaps this will lead to a better outcome, and there's really no right or wrong. Children were very comfortable in the space, experimenting different, problem-solving strategies, different discussing openly about the different consequences and outcomes, and I like the process of engaging children in topics of discussions like that. Moving ahead, I'm very happy that now there is an emphasis of arts education in the early child sector. We should perhaps have more community of practice. We should have more dialogues with the teaching artists, with early childhood teachers, the leaders, the stakeholders coming together to talk more about that. One of my greatest goal is really to develop the entire ecosystem. It is really not so much about working with young children. It is also about working with the adults to really understand and experience the value, the importance of arts education in our lives. It's not just about how the arts can help with academic outcomes, but how it helps us to be more humane. And with the world that is increasingly, so complex, so problematic, I'm also very concerned whether are we equipping our children with enough skills for them to be able to cope and survive in the future. And how do we go about equipping them with these skills? And one of the most effective ways really through the arts.